Welcome to Memoirs of a Fitness Trainer podcast. Today, we are talking about spouses and training, those fantastic, most dysfunctional couples that come to us for fitness advice. So let's go ahead and kick her off. Of course, I am joined by my co-host, the one and the only Mr. Tyler Johnson. Say hello to the now 9 fans.
9. Whoa! We're growing. Yes.
Slowly but surely.
As my mother used to say, I'm a grower, not a shower. I'm just
I have questions.
okay. That was weird. Edit
A little
that.
weird, but that's all
Take
right.
that
Move on.
out. Take it out.
Nope.
All right, leave
Gonna
it in.
just commit.
That's what she
All right.
said.
But today we're talking about training married couples and kind of the unique
Yep.
paradigm that happens with that. And a lot of it is one that dynamic that they go through and kind of strengthening a relationship as we go through training. But the other side is it can get a little weird sometimes, especially when you start getting involved in your spouse's training a little more than you are on your own. But Tyler, talk to me about what your experience has been with training a husband and a wife together, or if you've had experiences like that.
So there's 3 that come to mind, and all of them are different scenarios, which is great. So there's one couple I'm training right now that they are engaged and they're getting married at the end of the year. They're my age, so they're actually 29, coming up on turning 30. Um, there's a couple that I trained recently that actually just left to Germany. I've been training with them for a little close to 4 or 5 months now. They're in their 70s. And then there's a couple I trained with a long time ago that was kind of mid 40s, late 30s, and they had been married and owned a house and done together. So I've trained multiple pairs of couples, and I've trained other people kind of individually, which then later their spouse came to train with me. But
Oh,
in all the scenarios, the one factor that always came into play was the better their relationship, the better the training. Whenever their relationship is like not going so well, the training kind of gets a little bit dimmed down too.
oh yeah.
And all the scenarios. Like, is that the same you would say the same for you?
Um, I usually find that a couple that trains, and this just might be like I'm so we'll say results based or outcome based with like my training. So I usually tend to treat a married couple like two individuals that just happen to cohabitate together. And I have to be wary about how long I'm keeping one partner in the gym versus the other. I have to now navigate how one does their food versus the other, which it usually just means, all right, there's going to be 1 or 2 meals a day that they're going to have are going to be identical. And I need to kind of coach nutrition with that in mind. But as far as interpersonal things, it's when one fails, typically they drag the other one down with them. And it's kind of a tough place because in my experience, I've had to coach people up to go, hey, I'm gonna take care of your spouse. Like your husband, I got him. Don't you worry about him. You're succeeding on your own. Keep succeeding on your own. I'm gonna get him taken care of. So I almost coach them to be separate individuals that then cohabitate and work together on the back end when it comes to their fitness, their nutrition, because everyone has this different journey and this different goal, right? Like a male client's outcomes from training that they're searching for, and a female client's outcomes from training are probably going to be pretty different, right? So that's kind of been my experience, just teaching them as separate individuals that just happen to cohabitate together, and I found some success with that, and also I have also coached people through now 3 divorces, so maybe my way doesn't work the
Huh.
best. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and
Ooh.
put that out there. Like, I've coached a lot of couples, so like I'm
Yeah.
definitely in the win column here, right? But
Okay.
there have been a few divorces along the route, so like maybe.
Can you imagine being like that diverse Tony? So is there anything that you guys have in common? We're sharing a trainer.
There's a part of that I'm like, I can't for the
We're
life of
not.
me see how I could have caused that. I cannot. But
I can just imagine like handing the dumbbells. You make my bitch wife do these. Like, whoa, hey there, calm that down there, man.
Well,
No, Mark, no, she doesn't do chess like you.
I was like, you almost get like this competitive nature, and I think that's kind of like the fun dynamics some couples have, where it's, well,
Yeah,
so and so lost 20 pounds in 3 months. Well, I lost 25. It's like, all right, that's all in good fun. But then you get the couples where it's like, you really need to help my wife lose weight. And you're like, whoa, uh,
oh,
she's gonna tell
wow.
me what I need to do for her, and you can go ahead and shut the fuck up, and
Oh
vice
man.
versa. It's that whole element of, I do think when people walk into fitness believing it's a solo sport, they
Yeah.
do succeed better. And again, personal belief. I mean, that's my the controversy I have with group fitness, right? But that's been my experience is individually people that are couples that go to the same trainer tend to do better versus when you treat them like they're the same thing.
Yeah. So out of the scenarios that I listed, right, the two older couple, one, the girl, the woman, she had close to zero lifting experience, right? The male had previous athletic experience, right? But he was broken beyond belief. Like needed help. This is the person I talked about before that needed help turning his neck and
Oh
like
yeah,
hands were clamped like this. Meanwhile, the wife, no experience, but she had no broken bones, a little bit of a bad shoulder that I did some checkups on and was like, you need to go to a doctor and get that cleared before we can do anything with the upper body because she had pain when I was just taking her arm and just having her press against like a wall. She's like, "Oh wow," and I'm like, "Yeah." So
that's a
that
problem.
volume of pain, I'm like, "That's a problem. I'm gonna need you to get that cleared, and then we'll work together." And she went to a specialist and got it cleared, and went to PT for it. And I was like, "Aha! Glad I did that." Liability comes to me.
It's
So
very important.
very important. That's why you do a very thorough check through with people and make sure that when somebody gives you like a pain report, that you take it seriously and you just always say, go get it checked out, come back. Um, anyways, so she progressed so fast because she absorbed everything like a sponge and took in the knowledge and practiced it like outside. She was, coming in like she just left this last week. She sent me a text message actually this morning that she was doing deadlifts last night and somebody came up and complimented her on her deadlift form. She's like 74 years old and is lifting about 65 pounds, but her form, wow. Like she is so perfect at it that we worked on it drilled it for 4 to 5 weeks. And after that, I gave her like a graduation ceremony and was like, you can go do this on your own. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, you can deadlift and squat with a barbell on your own without me. You don't need me here anymore. She's like,
Huge. That's
what?
huge.
And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand. I don't say that to a lot of people. There's like some people some guys, I'm like, I give them like a workout program and they're doing squat, but they're still drilling form. You have 100% graduated. Your form is beautiful. All you need is kind of coaching up on how to progress as far as muscle volume or weight training and increasing numbers, which gradually over time you're going to get stronger, but you'll hit a plateau if you don't know how to get past it. But outside of that, you're you're beautiful. And she didn't believe me until literally she got complimented. So
That's
there's a scenario, right, with two
yeah.
people where it's like, yeah, the individual training was not only necessary, it was a must. And the couples worked out really well because one, they really didn't talk to each other as much as I thought they did. Like I remember I did a session with her on one Saturday. I was like, oh yeah, I worked with Noah this morning. It was really well. Noah was here today. Okay, so you guys obviously are not communicating like with what your days are even looking like. So this isn't like this. You guys have a different level of a household. Or I had mentioned something to him and said like, oh yeah, like she got her bands and she's doing this routine. She's like, oh, so that's the bands that I keep seeing around the house. I was wondering. I've been meaning to ask her about those. I'm just like,
That's another level. That's a
yeah.
that's a like maybe that's a couple that's probably not communicating very well. Like we might need to dive into that in some therapy.
I mean, they're going to Germany together, and they actually seem quite happy. Like, I don't
Oh, I mean, fuck if it
think,
works, right?
it works. They're both very busy. I mean, when they're looking at moving out, they're moving to Germany. They're talking about renting their home. And I had mentioned something to her and saying like, "Oh yeah, Noah said that you guys weren't going to rent your house, but he said that unless she can get it for 11.5, that he wasn't doing it." And she goes, "He told me 12." I was like, "He's willing to go to 11.5?
Done.
Nice. Don't tell him I know that now." I was just like, "Okay, I guess that's a thing." But yeah, they're renting their home out here for $11,500 a month, which tells
Yeah.
me it's a pretty big home.
Yeah, pretty nice home. Okay,
Yeah,
well, I like that, and that's definitely an example of when training people individually works. Have you
yeah,
trained a couple together
yeah.
where they're kind of just, hey, we're attached to the hip, we have the same program, the same style of eating, just you're essentially treating them like a couple, quite frankly. Have you had experience with that?
So there is one couple I had that was like that, and they worked well together, but eventually they didn't really see the goal aspect of like training together. They ended up like, having some things come up in life and they left. But the other two couples that I can really think of and picture clearly that have been in my mind, they did it for one reason and one reason alone, financial.
Yeah, doesn't usually work
They,
out very well.
yeah, they did it for financial and they are not at the same level. So building a program off of that means that, like it's in the first case was when I was first a trainer down in Sonoma. The guy was not in good shape, and the girl a phenomenal shape, and she could handle it. She can do any type of workout, and she understood like movements and patterns, and was a previous tennis athlete or something like that. And it was always him struggling to keep up. In the situation I have today, it's the opposite. The guy is a little bit, a little bit more familiar with workouts. The girl literally told me her family has never done fitness and that it's an ostrich in a chicken farm. It's not something you see.
It's an odd
So
example, dude. What?
exactly. It's so off. It was so off the charts for her family to hear that she was doing fitness that was the description I got. So anyways, so that's it's been that type of dynamic. So to make it work, some days it doesn't, in the sense that you want more out of one person, you don't have the time to donate it to, so you just got to make it fun and interesting and exciting. Because ultimately, the fitness journeys that you'll see in couples, it's they want health and they want wellness and they want weight loss. Typically, I mean, that is the 95%
Yeah.
factor. That's why the
Well,
couples
more
go to the
often than
gym.
not, that's kind of what people are checking off as like, hey, this is what I want from it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not coming to you saying, "Hey, we want to both deadlift 315 and right now we're both stuck at 285. We need
God,
building other programs."
wet dreams are made of that type of talk, Tyler, but keep going.
Yeah,
Like a
right.
married couple coming together, hey, we both want to go after competitive powerlifting and we're at a plateau. Oh my God. I'll work with you for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what do your mornings look like? We wake up and we walk on an incline treadmill for 90 minutes while we suck down our protein smoothies. Oh God.
I'll see you at noon every day for free. Let's go.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a struggle, but I find it like today I trained them and it's fun. It's really good when you can bring in an energy and see it like his fitness for them, like the couple I'm working with right now, it was scary for the girl. And the guy was really interested and they're both really motivated, but they didn't really know how to go about it. So they came to me. They actually had interviewed four other trainers prior to saying yes to me because I told them the straight up truth. I said, it's gonna be tough. You guys are going to be doing full body workouts. It's going to be doing the same thing for weeks on end. I'm not going to be able to check up with you every day. I'm going to need you to be, big boy and big girl and go out there with your pants on and go work out and stay on the program and be able to have an open communication to come back to me and check in when you can. So it's going to be a weekly process. This won't happen quick, and I can't guarantee you the results that you're looking for.
So setting
We might run it.
expectations at the start to make sure that they understand that, hey, the way you guys are going about this, it's the way you guys need to go about it. But that
Yeah.
outcome might not necessarily be as specific as if you were to work with someone individually. Is that kind of like what I'm getting from that?
Kind of the atmosphere, but also the idea of setting like any training, any training circumstances. Somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to lose 30 pounds in a year." It's a great goal. Like I'm gonna definitely help you to assist in hoping to make that happen. There's not, yeah, let's do that. 100%. We can do that.
Never.
I don't personally say that.
You
I don't know
shouldn't.
if that's your, okay.
No.
I don't know if that's something you do, but
I'm real confident when I say I'm going to do something, but it's always going to
yeah,
be, all right, this is when we can do it in, but this is
yeah,
typically what I see, but understand you very well might be outside of that norm. And
yeah,
the correct thing is not to go ahead and go after some arbitrary goal time wise. The correct thing is to do the things correctly in the way they're supposed to be done. And then if they get done early, fantastic. But if they take twice as long, well, fantastic too. Yeah.
yeah. Like I've seen somebody lose 12 pounds in 3 weeks from,
Oh, yeah.
you know, literally they just stopped doing one aspect of their life or like something like stop drinking for 3 weeks and then like, oh wow, I lost a bunch of weight. Oh, I wonder why.
Well,
You're
yeah.
drinking 4 glasses of
That
wine a night. Okay.
Well, it's operating outside of the status quo. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch before with outliers and how statistically there's always that kind of weird thing that happens sometimes where people set the curve for everybody else. And you can't walk into these things going, hey, I'm going to be the person that sets the curve. Like, okay, really? I bet your financial strategy is winning the lotto too. It's not likely to happen. It can, but Jesus, I would not bet on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, so yeah, the individual, I would definitely say is it's a good way of getting to the results. Now, the other aspect of the lifestyle, right? Because this is something I have been very clear about too. I am not a nutrition or dietitian. I can speak to what you should be eating in the sense of giving you a general mapping. I can definitely understand what will be successful as far as a calorie intake, protein, fat ratio, but I don't have meal plans on the prep. I don't have something that's going to be for a couple, especially individually when one person's, going to be dropping weight at some rate and their metabolic, you know, our resting metabolic rate is at like 1800 and the other person has at like 12. So prescribing the right meals to eat is just on a general aspect. I try to just say, hey, like, I know you guys are eating together. What else do you guys do? Do you have yogurt at night and he doesn't? And I try to find like where the outliers are in their relationship and try to come to like some sort of common ground because they're doing the journey together. So the more you can get them involved together, the better the outcome will be in the end all. But at the same time, it's
Smart.
like you can get one of them to kind of like reaffirm like, well, he eats Hershey's bars every day in his car when he
Oh, yeah.
drives home because I find him on the floor. Be like, okay, well, we're gonna have to cut back on the Hershey's bars, and maybe change those out for like an RX bar or something.
Yeah, a married
Yeah,
couple, like no one else will rat their partner out to their trainer like you would not believe.
you have to be very careful.
Like the level of detail that your partner will rat you out to your trainer is
Yeah,
just hilarious.
yeah, and it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah, you get a knowledge base. Here's an idea. So, what about when you have a spousal interaction with somebody that's you don't train them, but it's like, let's say it's a husband and a wife, right? You train the wife, and then you meet the husband after 3 months, like comes in the gym, like, and you get introduced. How do you kind of find like those interactions happen for you most of the time? What's kind of like what's the feedback you get, or what's kind of the interaction? What does it look like?
It's usually like if I'm meeting a male, like because it is a little different depending upon if I'm meeting the husband or the wife, right? I usually walk into it going, hey, I'm spending a lot of one-on-one time with this guy's wife. Like, I'm a young trainer and I understand that my industry is known for some stuff and it's not necessarily all very good. It is. It's
Right.
a lot of trainers sleep with a lot of their clients, and a lot of marriages have ended that way. So I usually make a
Right.
point to be highly professional with the husband, where I firm handshake. I appreciate you loaning me your wife. Yeah, she's doing great work, and I just kind of keep it very, very matter of fact. Because quite frankly, I want this guy to know, hey, I'm not a threat, man. I'm helping your wife out. Like I'm
Yeah.
so I do kind of try to skate that line because I have in the past had female clients kind of have to drop off because of their husband or boyfriend being insecure. And whether that's right or wrong, we can debate that till we're blue in the face, right? Like, there's no reason
Right.
that that person should be insecure if there's no like, funny business happening. But it's a part of a relationship you have to navigate.
Yeah.
And when I meet the wife or the girlfriend, which not the wife, his wife or his girlfriend, I'll typically be a lot more friendly and just kind of try to dissuade whatever the husband might have kind of said about me. Because typically with a lot of my male clients, I'm very authoritarian. I'm very, no, we're just going to do this, and very kind of drill and a little less gentle. So typically the stories that the wife or his wife or his girlfriend have heard are usually like, yeah, no, Ryan just saw me hurting today and really just kind of said, suck it up, buttercup. So it's like I kind of want that person to know, like, no, no, no. If you need help, you're more than welcome to come to me. So I'm really trying to be more gentle and more friendly in that
Yeah.
aspect. And that's more of on the potential that I might get that person as a client later on down the road. Because I
Nice.
have made that mistake where I let the husband kind of almost so much poison me to his wife, but the husband saying such, like, wow, Ryan's a really hard trainer when I'm just hard with him. It's not that I'm
Yeah.
hard with everyone. And that person ended up needing training later down the line, and training that I was very specifically geared towards. Like, you are looking for the thing that I have the best skill set in. But she would not train with me for all the gold in the world because she thought I was just going to crack the whip at her all day.
Mm.
And so I try to navigate that situation and try to almost diffuse what that person might think of me, because ultimately, if a guy's wife doesn't want him to train with me anymore, eventually the guy's wife is going to win. If
Mm.
the girl's husband wants her not to train with me anymore because of any reason, eventually he's going to win, because there's no reason a married couple should even remotely put their relationship at jeopardy to work with a trainer. No matter how good I might think I am, I'm not worth someone's marriage to work with. Period. So I'm kind of just trying to
You're
navigate
selling
that
yourself
typically.
short there, Ryan. You're selling yourself short there. You should be breaking marriages up and just being that bug in the mix. All right.
No, like I'm pretty, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty full of my ability. Like, I really do believe in myself and my
Yeah.
craft. But there's that element of like, you know what? I could probably find five other trainers that will get you guys taken care of. Will they be as good as me in certain areas? Not necessarily, and they might be better than me in certain areas. But I could probably find someone to get you across there. But I can't
Yeah.
likely find you another spouse. So it's a tough thing, but that's what I try to do, just navigate the social interaction.
Yeah, I just imagine like the worst case scenario, just like seeing the trainer. If I had a girlfriend and like she was like, "Oh, this is my trainer," and you walked up and he was like, "Yeah, I've helped build that ass. How she's riding," I'd be like, "Okay, that was just totally off the wagon." Fuck no, do not ever say that.
Dude, I was
Like,
training this one girl. She it was something to do with modeling. I think it was like she was like a face model. It was like
yeah,
her thing with like wearing makeup and things like that. I started training her maybe a week, and then I ended up meeting her boyfriend, who I was definitely twice the size of. Like, this was a
yeah,
small man, and nothing against that, right? Like, whatever works.
whatever
But
works.
it
Good
was one of those
relationship.
things where it was like the guy looked at me like head to toe, then like up, and then just kind of looked down at my feet for the rest of our interaction. I'm like, oh shit, I know exactly what's
Uh,
about to happen. Well, I got a text later that night, and I wasn't training that girl anymore, and I'm like, oh,
ah,
that's lame. I did
ah,
nothing
man.
wrong.
Look, dude.
Ugh.
Pencil in those insecurities.
Insecurities take
No, I mean,
people crazy. Yeah.
I'm like you. I'm so professional in my environment that like I had a meeting with a girl actually this year. She was very pretty and she was 28 years old and or 29, something like that. Super pretty girl. So my type and everything. And I was like, she was getting engaged. And so her whole background is that she's, going and she's getting engaged and wants to do this and get toned. I'm like, she's in great shape and everything else. And I'm just like, I'm took myself completely out of that scenario. After I was done, like there's a couple other trainers, they're like, dude, who's that girl? Did you like talk to her? I'm like, oh, she's just getting
Oh,
engaged. And they're like, oh, dude, like, damn, like I'd be nervous to work with her. I'm like, she might actually end up working with me. It's because I didn't sexualize anything about it. I
yeah,
don't, as soon as somebody's sitting in front of me, I mean, they could be literally half naked. If we're talking about training and we're going to be like going one on one, it's eye contact and all right, this is a professional meeting.
yeah.
I would like it if
It's
you had a towel on, but at the same time, let's finish this out.
no,
So,
it's 100%. I am here to do a job. It's
yeah.
not that you don't track that she's attractive. It's that you compartmentalize that. You put that in the side of your brain and go, all right, well, that has no place in what we're doing right now. And
Right.
it's the same thing if you meet someone who you find out is engaged. It's like, okay, well, I can't see that person as someone as a potential mate or whatever it is. I can't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the side of my brain and just go, it's over there. I'm not going to go ahead and look over there. And I think that's really important as a professional to go, hey, your clients are your clients. Like it's not an attractive young woman. It's a young woman or it's a female in her early 20s. It's not an attractive young woman. Yeah, you gotta get the point. And I
I
think that's
I
really
had a
important to do.
I had an opposite ends in the matter too. I was training a client who she was 17 and I was like 24 at the time. And she had taken a liking to me, and I had to have a conversation with her mom, and I said, "Hey, I can no longer train your daughter, and it's
Oh yeah.
because she's made inappropriate gestures in the sense of like saying we should hang out after a session or like go get some food, and I'm not comfortable with that,
Uh-uh.
so it's gonna be a no."
Absolutely not. Like
Um,
that's
that's a
if she had been 20, I still don't necessarily think that a trainer
no.
has any place hanging out with their attractive, female client
Mm,
outside of their training session because it's why you're hanging out with that person. Like don't
yeah.
try to oh, we're just friends. Oh, shut the fuck up. You're not. Like you know exactly what you're doing and you're opening the
Oh,
door
you sleep
for
with
it.
all your friends? That's your thing? Like, no.
I feel
There's no.
personally attacked right there, Tyler.
Oh no, I'm agreeing. Like, well, first of all, I've never been put in a scenario that I've ever trained a client and had an attraction. And I've trained attractive people, but yeah, it's like you said, I've
Yeah,
compartmentalized
separate
or
brain.
just completely it's gone.
Yeah.
Like a coworker. As soon as oh, this is a coworker. Yeah, all right, cool. You're out.
I think people really struggle a lot with that. And that's a topic for another day as to why people are so desperate for human affection. And they're looking for it kind of just anywhere they can get it. But okay.
Another topic.
Well,
All right.
have this is kind of something I want to talk a little bit about. And so you've trained quite a fair number of couples, as have I. Have you ever trained a couple where the other, like their spouse or partner, had kind of some input on how you were supposed to be training their spouse? Like,
Hmm.
say, well, let's just give the obvious example. You're training a woman, and married to this guy, and this guy's sitting there telling you, "Hey, you really need to get her to lose weight." Like, because I know I've had that example, and you already know what my response is to that. You can
I
politely go fuck yourself, sir. She wants to tell me that. There we
I
go.
really I really haven't. The only thing I have has had like supporting stuff where it's like, the clients in Sonoma, let's go back to them, the late 30s, early 40s couple. You know, I had a training session with the girl and the guy wasn't there. He had like some business or something and she's just like, I just really want him to move better with his hips. Like he won't stretch and he's just not getting it. And it's like, all right, well maybe I need to work with him separately, like and do some
Kindness.
one-on-one.
Yeah,
Like
that, that
that
that's
was
kind
kind
of
of it wasn't
different.
like a dude, he sucks. I just wish he wouldn't come. It's like, oh, wait a second. Like, you guys are doing this together. Do we want to separate? Like, it wasn't negative. Like, it's been positive, but no, I haven't had like a, yeah, man, my husband's just so fat. Like, God, can you just get on him to lose that weight? Like, that's like, oof. You guys need some therapy before we
Oh,
can continue.
100%. Again,
Yeah.
it's why I've had those few divorces that I've trained, man. This
Yeah.
is shit like that where it's like, hey, my husband's belly is, oh my God, I can't stand it. Can you work on that? You're like, uh, he's coming to
Yeah.
me for strength and mobility. So no, I can't. If he says he wants to lose weight around his midsection, fuck yeah, let's make that our world. You guys should have that conversation because
Yeah.
I'm here to do his job.
Yeah. That's not my
Uh,
conversation. If somebody were to say something, my first answer would be like, "Oh, would you like me to tell him that you want that discussed?"
oh,
No, I just like that. That's like I would be like, I'm gonna take myself in this equation and be like, look, you've just said that. Like, okay, awesome. Yeah, I can let him know that you want that suggested. I don't think that's his goals, but if you want, I'll bring it up and let him know that that's something you want for him. So you guys can talk about that later without me.
I put the hard line in the sand just to kind of set that boundary because it's one, I don't do backseat coaching. Like I just don't. I think I truly do believe that the more chefs that you do have in the kitchen, the worse your end product tends to be. It's just chaos.
Mm,
But the other side of it is, all right, you know what? I don't want to be in the middle of this relationship. I don't want to
yeah.
be the person where I'm playing telephone back and forth between these two people. I'm here to work with the person that I'm here to work with, which for me, it's not who puts the credit card down. I don't care. It's who signed on the dotted line and whose name do I have in my schedule. That's my client. Everyone else, I really don't care like what their opinion is. It means nothing to me because my client's opinion is the only one that matters. And I would imagine that you and any other really good trainer would do the same thing, which is nah, 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 nah. We're
Yeah.
no, we're good.
Yeah. I like I said, I haven't been put in that scenario. I don't know what I would say. Most of the time, it's always been positive couples. Anybody who is negative like that probably wouldn't be my client for long.
No.
Like I have this client who's trying to come back on my schedule right now, who I've been completely avoiding, and it's because she snapped on somebody else when I was training her. She snapped on a friend of my mom's, like
Oh,
randomly enough. I told you about that.
you
Yeah,
did tell
yeah,
me about this one.
yeah. So she left the gym and then she's come back and she keeps coming to me when I'm on the fitness floor and like trying to take my time. And
No,
I walk by her. I say, "Hey, it's great to see you." And she'll try to flag me and I'll be like, "Hey, I actually got to go do this." And I've
I
just
gotta
been
work.
super, yeah. And she stopped me finally at one point when I was sitting and doing a booth. And she was like, "Oh, I've been really wanting to get back into training." And I was like, "Oh, well, we kind of did our thing. Do you want me to, recommend somebody else? My schedule's kind of full for the times that, you used to do with me." "Oh, I can change it around." "Oh, yeah, well, we can look at it. Just shoot me a text." And yeah, she like shot me a text and I did not respond. And so I'm just playing that off. And
Yeah,
eventually she's just like, if she asks the hard question, just be like, "So I really want to train with you. Like, when can we make it work? Anytime." I'll just be like, "I'm sorry. I don't think I'm the best trainer for your needs. And I think that what you want is just not what I can offer, but I can recommend somebody else." And if that's not a good enough answer, I'm sorry. No.
yeah,
Like, I'll let my fitness manager know that you're looking for training. I can't take you on my schedule.
yeah.
And it's never gonna be a blunt, like, it's because I don't like you. It will never be that. I'm
No.
too nice and kind of a person.
Well, it's not even that you necessarily dislike her. It's that she crossed a professional boundary with you, and
Yep.
you kind of had to go, "Hey, that's not okay." And well, all right. Well, if that can't be honored, then I can't work with you. And someone like that keeps hounding after you, keep disrespecting your time like that. Like it had it gone from that one interaction, then a month later, hey, sorry that this thing happened. I was going through a bad day, X, Y, and Z. Of course, you give that second chance or that third chance or what have you. But when someone's just continually showing the same habits and behaviors that initially caused the problem, it's like, no, I'm not going to take you on my schedule for a month just to suffer
Yeah,
through that and eventually have to get you off my schedule again. No.
yeah, yeah. Or, like her thing was she only wanted 3 sessions, and I'm
Yep.
no longer taking people
No.
who don't want to go for a minimum of 3 months. I don't
Yeah.
care if we're meeting once a week, that's fine, but we're scheduling out for 3 months.
Yeah.
If you can't schedule out for 3 months, I can't take you on my schedule because there's nothing I can do for you.
Well, smart. That's knowing your craft and knowing your recommendation and standing by it. I won't work with someone one time a week anymore. Just for more or less the exact same reason. It's, hey, from a professional standpoint, I need to see someone more frequently for them to match the timeline that I want to move them through my schedule. Because for me, it's all, if I'm working with someone in person, my entire goal is I want to not work with you anymore. Because I have so limited time that I want to get that person out of there to get somebody new in to then help them. So for me, it's working with someone once a week. God, I'm going to be with this person forever. And that's not going to help me with that kind of goal of cycling people through.
I've literally thought about this like recently too, and you'll probably agree with this. I don't know, but people's usually it's the number. Like, oh, I can't afford you twice a week. Okay, what if we meet twice a week still, but for 30 minutes? And I'll set you up with a better kind of like a little layout with what to do, but at least I can see you twice a week. Would you prefer that over meeting with somebody for an hour?
I'd rather the hour personally.
You'd rather the
Um,
hour.
someone's going to 30 minutes, people show up late, things happen. You get someone that comes in and they want to talk and they
Yeah,
have something going on in their life. Because as every trainer knows, as you of course do,
yeah,
that when a client hires you, they're not just hiring you to be their trainer or their
yeah,
nutritionist. They're hiring you to be this friend along their journey. And a lot of times they want you to be more their friend than you want them to be that professional.
yeah,
So you'll get people that come in and it just ends up with, what'd you do for that half hour? We made it through a half the crap we were supposed to get into, where normally an hour, you can always make things up. You can
yeah,
always kind of go, hey, we're 20 minutes in. I know I should be this far along in my session. I'm not there. I'm a little behind. All right. I know I need to get fire under this guy's ass. We got to start moving. And it allows for that flexibility to go back and forth at a half hour. I really don't feel there is the ability to do any makeup or have to go do a lateral or have someone on a
yeah,
squat going, oh my God, your ankle flexibility is garbage. It was not there
yeah.
when we warmed up. Well, shit, I'm going to have to spend the next 20 minutes with our cross ball in your calf. Well, we've got 5 minutes left of the session.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh-oh.
I literally have a client right now who I go twice a week with, and we get through maybe 3 movements in an hour because she just wants to talk. And I've
Yep.
tried to like stop her and be like, hey, like I need us to push through a couple things. No, it's fine. Just let me rest. It's
No, it's
okay.
not fun.
Okay. There's like, okay, well, we're not gonna get through much today. That's okay. Like
Yeah.
she's literally just like, I'm like, yeah, and I've literally blatantly stopped her and be like, this is $150 an hour. To me, it's a lot. I understand for you, it's not. But if you're okay with just us lollygagging through the workouts, it's on you. Our progression is going to be a lot longer. We're
Yep.
going to be doing this for 8 months or more if you do this.
Yep.
And she's like, then I'll be on your schedule for 8 months. Oh,
Yep. But I usually
okay.
find if we take it down to the hour part, which I take like my business dealings out of it for cycling people through.
Yeah.
Like if I take that out of it and I really have to just choose an hour, well, if I see someone for one time a week, an hour, that person's going to codify it in their mind that I'm seeing this person for one time a week. I should really only expect X outcome from it. They see
Yeah.
you twice a week, even though it's only half an hour there. I'm seeing a trainer twice a week. Well, why am I not seeing the progress that I want? It's like, well, because you talk half the session and we barely end up doing anything. But that
Yeah.
person is probably going to is probably not going to stay with you as long, even though it's their own dealings that are causing the lack of their progress. But in
It
their
really
mind,
it really come back down to like what they're looking for. Like if I had somebody who's like, hey, I'm trying to get better at pull-ups, and that's all I want to do. I just want to get better at pull-ups. Like there's nothing else in fitness that I ever want. Like I don't want abs, I don't want to do weights. I just literally want to get better at pull-ups. And I want to meet with you twice a week, but I cannot afford an hour. I'd be like, well,
Sure.
we can do 30 minutes of pull-up shit. You have to be here
Yeah.
warmed up and get your shoulders going, and we will literally just work on the form for pull-ups until you get a pull-up done. And
Okay.
that is like a very specific dialed in scenario where it'd be
I
like,
would,
then it could work.
yeah, I'm gonna get behind you on that one. Like if someone's
Okay.
coming into me and says, "Hey, Ryan, I just want to squat. I need to dial that form in. I'm great at all the other crap. I just need some help on the squat." Yeah, I could get behind working with someone 2 times a week for 30 minutes. Like really, I could because
If that's their
uh,
goal, if they're like, if they're
yeah.
also, they'd have to come up with a goal because I'd still go for the hour. Be like, okay, we're gonna drill pull-ups for an hour. We're gonna do some. I'm gonna show you. Like, I'll bring my Theragun out. We're gonna do massage. Like, we're probably gonna do some other full body stuff, and we're gonna work on core. Like, I'll be able to get you to do a pull-up, and I can help do assisting workout muscles and make sure that the pull-up
Yep.
formation is great. Like everything else that comes in between, but because you will fatigue. Like, if I were just to take somebody who's just like, oh, I can't do a pull-up, okay, we're gonna drill this for 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes, you can't do anything with your shoulders or your back because your grip has failed.
Mhm.
Okay. You still want to do pull-up stuff? Okay. Well, we can't. So
Well, I think that's an outcome of a specific movement pattern. And that's sort of what we're talking about, right? Is same deal
yes.
in the squat, right? Like, all right, training your squat, that might not be all the what we do to get you a perfect squat. Like we might have to do other supporting things, but it's
Yes.
a very simple outcome, which is to have a good squat, or which is so complicated, right? Or being able to do your first pull up, which
Yeah.
again is relatively complicated, but it's
Yeah.
one outcome versus a state of being like, hey, I want to be in shape. Hey, I want to lose weight. And it's this so convoluted journey that you have to go through to get someone to where that is. And if you're meeting someone 30 minutes or 1 time a week, outside of you getting someone that's just a rock star and a self-starter, like the business owner mindset of like, I wake up at 4 a.m. because I can. Like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that guy might be able to do it.
I
I
work
don't think
at
most
wake
people
up
are
at
that guy.
4:30. I have egg whites. I
Yeah.
literally my shit time is at 8:45 after my cup
Yeah.
of cola.
Yeah, you get that guy. All right, you know what? Fuck it, I'll work with you 1 time a week. Like, yeah, you're an absolute superstar. Like, we're gonna get there with or without me. I'm just gonna accelerate you on your path. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'm for it. But that's the 1% of the 1% of people. Like, I don't plan for any of my clients to be those people. If they are, fuck yeah, my job's easy.
Really.
Yeah.
Um, again, we've stumbled ourselves off topic. Well, is
Well, I
there
think
any
it's this is
other?
still we're still kind of like rolling around with it a little bit. It's those little tangents we get into, but I think they're
This
important.
this is true. This is true. It's kind of like we've gotten to the edge of the ring.
Yep.
One foot is out. Nobody's really called it an out, but still holding on to the
Wrestling,
leg.
that's a wrestling reference for anyone out there.
Anyways, so are there any other like specific scenarios with your three divorces that you know you would remind other trainers listening to this program like, hey, this is where you can really help yourself steer clear of being brought into a situation where you have to either defend a client against their spouse or be put in the middle, kind of like what would you would say is advice to keep yourself in a very neutral ground.
Um, I would say take it back to keeping your clients as individuals. You are training a married couple, absolutely, but when the wife talks to you or the husband talks to you, it's a different conversation. What the wife is telling you is really just information only for you and them, and you don't assume that the other partner knows it. And it's not because I plan to cause like strife in relationships or like for training to cause that. It's a lot of times people seek out training as a couple because there's some underlying dysfunction going on where they're already pretty not happy with each other, right? Like they're already have some things going on and they're trying to get into shape to see if they can't bring the spark back, like the couple that trains together stays together type thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think treating people as individuals and understanding that you're not a therapist, you're not trying to fix anything. That's not your job. You're
Hmm.
there to be their trainer, their friend, but you're not that friend that they gossip with. They're going to gossip to you, but you don't really get to have an opinion on what that guy's wife does. Even though like you're looking at it going, wow, that woman is really self-sabotaging that guy, or like, wow, that guy is kind of an asshole at home.
Yeah.
That's not your place. You have a role, and that role is to be a trainer. So you fulfill that role. And then you be a friend on top of that because that's a personal training. So my advice would be to keep it separate, understand what your role is and what your role isn't, and accept that if a couple does separate while under your watch, well, hey, we're gonna do that without you. Like you don't give yourself so much credit that you think that you like putting that extra added pressure of training caused their breaks. Like, no, they were gonna
I
do that
don't
no
know,
matter what.
man. Three relationships, all divorced. You're the same common factor.
That's three relationships over a 14-year career, son. Like,
You
roll the
really,
dice
really
enough, shit's
drove
gonna happen.
you really drove a wedge. Took you some time. Found the right buttons to poke.
Hey, I'm just saying,
Manipulation.
one of those divorced couples, I still actually trained both of them just separately. Now they both stuck with me, and I was like, really? All
Yeah.
right, I'm not gonna tell you about your ex-husband or your ex-wife. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell
Give
you
me
anything about them.
we'll use that as a sales pitch. But hey, look,
Hey,
man, you keep training with me. I'll tell you everything that Lauren tells me. Yeah.
I'm gonna flip it as, hey, you may get divorced while under my watch, but you'll still seek with your fitness goals. Like, that's that's not adherence. I don't
Yeah.
fucking know what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, but we're coming up on a little over an hour now. So let's kind of put a bow on it. What would be a good closing kind of statement around how trainers should probably attack coaching married couples together?
Mm. Well, coaching them together. The one thing I've seen that's very successful is number one, you'll usually do the interview together. They usually come to you for the first meeting together, but to schedule one-on-ones or even just a 30-minute follow-up where it's like, hey, we're gonna go through like an assessment base. I'm not gonna do you both at the same time. I need to kind of get a little bit more one-on-one with you guys, and we'll come back together in our couples training. And that goes a long ways because it gives you a chance to ask questions that maybe the other person isn't comfortable about talking about in front of the other spouse. You have to get the separation prior to coming back together. If you do that, if you wait too long for that, you'll get chirping during the workouts.
Yes,
Yeah. You
it's
need to make
huge.
sure that you take them apart and then bring it back together. That's if they're training together. Outside of that, even if you're not training a couple in the sense, let's say you're just training a wife and she's married, to ask questions about the husband and maybe find out what they do for fitness. Because if they have somebody who's, not so motivated at home, who's like, not about it and it maybe talks to it, you don't know the background of what's motivating her. Like, is it because of things that he's saying? Is it something that he's doing? Or is it like or in the revive vice versa, if you have a guy and his wife, doesn't go to the gym, like, okay, well, is this something that she's interested? Two reasons, because it helps them get to know that you are actually interested in their background and their life more. And also it's a potential client. Like it could be somebody that you work with at a later date. So getting involved with your married or getting involved with your people and their spouses is huge. But as far as the training aspect, my biggest hint would say if after you've done a meeting or one to schedule one-on-ones. Huge.
I like that. Treat them as individuals, but understand, of course, I mean, it makes sense. There's no, there should be no shocking revelation here, is that they're individuals in training, but when in life they are a partnership. I like that, man. I like the individual approach and taking it aside, going, hey, these guys might be training together, but I need to spend a little bit of one-on-one time because this guy might have an issue with a shoulder that she doesn't have, or or vice versa. But I like that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I can't say that I have anything to add to that. That was beautifully put. So I think we'll probably call the episode here. Guys, this has been absolutely fantastic. Appreciate you as always, and we'll catch you guys here in the next one. Cheers.